Hi, my name is Annie, and this is my fourth vlog on YouTube. Today I thought I'd talk about the books that I'm reading, because I haven't read for a while, but I picked up on some pretty mad series. So yeah, I'll start again. So I'm reading the Scott Westerfeld's UGLIES, and it's one of those series how it's been out for a while, but I don't think it's really gotten all the fame it should have, because these books are amazing. So in the series there is UGLIES, which you can see on the back, and then there's Pretties, third book Specials, and the last book is Extras. So yeah. If anybody else has read them, can you help me out with the authenticity of the city that Tally grew up in? Because it sometimes sounds like America, and then in the fourth book it sounds like Asia. And their names are just they're from all over, like Tally and Ho and Forster and Zane and Paris. They're not normal. And then it says they go to another city and they've got average English names like John and Sam and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm really confused. Or the last book could be set in a different city, but I'm not sure if it is or not. So yeah. Right, what it's about. It's after the apocalypse. 300 years, I think, around. Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong. And it's about this girl called Tally who, well, in her world you grow up with your parents in the suburbs until you turn 12, and then you go into a dorm in Uglyville, yeah, I know, and until you're 16, and then once you turn 16 you get an operation that makes you pretty, which is basically absolutely perfect, like facially, and you'll have poreless skin, big eyes, yeah, you just be supermodel attractive, but it's kind of you're not very individualized, you all look the same with slight differences, you know. And yeah, and then so Tally, she goes through the normal process until she's about 15, and her best friend Paris goes and becomes a pretty, and then so he's a pretty. She goes to visit him. He's totally different, in here too, and just that's a bit strange. And then she meets another ugly, which is it's the class, what they call people who are between 12 and 16 who haven't had the operation yet, called Shay. And 2 nights before Shay and her both turn 16, Shay comes to her window and's like, I'm gonna run away to this place called the Smoke, which is where they have a group of people who live out in the wild, which is unheard of these days, because there's big cities and there's no rural towns or anything. And well, Tally obviously wants to become pretty, so she's like, no, are you crazy? And so she gets left behind. And then the cops of the city where she lives, are called Special Circumstances, or just Specials, and they come and they take her, and they're like, okay, you go find the Smoke for us, and if you don't, we won't turn you pretty ever. because that's something that Tally's always wanted. Unlike Shay, she goes and yeah, she basically turns Shay in, and there's Smoke, which is the wild community, and yeah, and she meets a boy who was living in this boat called David, and yeah, that's basically the first book, and it's really good, well written, and also I found like it's a really techno world, like a lot of stuff that would be really cool to have around now is like hoverboards, hover cars, all that sci-fi stuff. Those and all those Back to the Future movies and stuff. So yeah, I thought that was really cool. I won't describe the rest of the books because yeah, I'll be spoiling it. But seriously, the best read I've had in years, and I read a lot of books, so yeah. Something else that I would recommend is the C.H.E.R.U.B series, but more for 10 to 14-year-olds, because I read them when I was about 10. But saying that, I was like ahead of my year, so really anybody could read them. And they're about like child spies, but they're not like goofed up like the Spy Kids. It's like pretty serious government stuff. And yeah, and they're really good. They're about a boy called James, and his mum is like a shoplifting criminal, and she dies, and then he gets taken to a foster home and like abducted by C.H.E.R.U.B, which takes him in and trains him and starts sending on missions. And yeah, they're really good books. Yeah. Oh, another great read for older, I'd say 16 plus, even though I'm only 15, because I find it really hard to read them, is The Game of Thrones. Amazing. They're just really difficult to read because they're pretty heavy. Like, there's a lot of, I don't know, blaring on about like other people's egos and stuff. It's set in like kind of medieval, and they're like, well, there's this one Iron Throne, and it's all about who's king at the moment, and it's all based around medieval politics. And it's also got like other great things that like everybody likes to see in TV shows, like drama and sex and passion. Yeah, it's got like all the stuff you'd see in Neighbours as well as all the stuff you'd see in Aragon. Yeah, it's a weird mix, but it works. So yeah, I'd really recommend that. Yeah, that's all I had to say. I've changed rooms, as you can see. I'm now in the orange room instead of the blue room. So, yeah. Over and out. Stay golden. I'll see you next time.